Hi.
Hi, are you sure this course is just for 2499?
Yes, and you know this is the only course with this expertise across the world.
No way!
Yes way. Don't delay. Enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hi.
Hi, are you sure you can prepare for product based companies through this course?
Yes, sitting at home?
No way!
Yes way. Don't delay. Enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way!
Oh, yes way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's session of Dynamic Programming series, and I'm very pleased to see you all here. So before we get started for today's session, can I please get a quick confirmation if my voice is clearly audible and also if my screen is clearly visible? All right, let's just wait for a couple more minutes so that rest of our friends also join, and then we shall be starting after that. Okay, just give me a moment. All right. So, okay. Hi, Dhanam. Hi, Kavyarasu, and hi, Subodip. All right. So, you have interview next week. So, first of all the best for that. And second of all, if you wish to look for some tips, so what you can do is you can look for the questions that have been previously asked, right? And then that can help you probably to ace your interview. Means previous year questions always help, right? So that's one thing that you can try to solve those previous year questions, and try to get in touch with the people who have been through these interviews. That will also help you a lot. All the best, Subodip. All right, so let's get started with today's session, okay? So this is our day 8 of dynamic programming series. Okay, and as in the continuation of previous day's session, the topic that was covered in the previous day was stock based problems. So today, in the continuation of that, we will be covering that only, that is the stock based problems. Okay, two questions were covered yesterday, and today we are going to cover the rest of the two questions. All right, so the two questions that we covered in yesterday's session was, first was we need to buy and sell the stock when one transaction is allowed. All right, and the second type that we did was infinite transactions allowed. All right, so that was about the previous day's session. So if you just a brief recapitulation, let me do that for you. So in the one transaction allowed, what we basically did was, we first of all we were linearly traversing the price array that was given to us. Yeah, Himanshu. So basically, in the previous day session, we did these two problems that were based on the stock span. Okay, one was the one transaction allowed, and the second question was, you need to buy and sell the stock when two infinite transactions are allowed. All right. So in one transaction allowed, basically what we did was, uh, we were finding the minimum price. All right, and maximum profit. And how we were finding the maximum profit, whatever the minimum price that was with us till that point, what we were doing is, we were finding minimum the maximum profit as prices of j minus the minimum price that we have, right? So in that way, we were finding our maximum profit for the one transaction allowed. Now when the infinite transactions allowed, in that case, what we were doing for infinite transactions, okay, so for infinite transactions, we were basically looking for the local maxima and local minima. Like, let us say if our array was forming a graph like this. Okay, if this is the graph that is being formed with the help of the array, so basically what we were doing is, we were considering this as one of the segment, and here we are buying and selling the stock. At this point we bought the stock, and at this point we sold our stock. Then again we considered this segment, right? So at this point we bought the stock, and at this point we sold the stock. So basically we were looking for local minima and local maxima, right? And that we were using to find out the maximum profit. Okay, so that is how we solved these two type of questions in yesterday's session, when one transaction and infinite transactions are allowed, right? So today what we are going to do is the rest two kind of the stock based problems, that is when at most two transactions allowed. Okay, and then we have at most k transactions allowed. All right, so these are the two questions that we are going to discuss today. So let us first discuss about when two transactions are allowed. Okay, so let me first read out the question statement so that it becomes clear. Just a second. All right, is this problem statement visible to you all for at most twice? Can I please get the confirmation if this problem statement is visible, if we are on that tab only. All right, seems like. Thanks. Okay, so the question statement reads as, in daily share trading, a buyer buys shares in the morning and sells them on the same day. If the trader is allowed to make at most 2 transactions in a day, the second transaction can only start after the first one is complete. The stock prices throughout the day are represented in the form of an array of prices. So, given an array price of size n, find out the maximum profit that a share trader could have made, right? So, basically, what you need to do is, this array of prices is given to you. You need to find out 2 days. Okay, basically, you need to find out 2 points where you can buy and sell your stocks so that you can have the maximum profit. Okay, so let us see how we can approach this question. So the array of prices that is given to us is 10, 22, 5, 75, 65 and 80. Okay. Okay, so this thing that is given to you, 10, 22, 5, 75, 65 and 80, right? So this is the input, and in the output you need to return the maximum value that you can get. Okay, so if we need to make the 2 transactions, then that 2 transactions that we can basically make here is like we are buying and selling at most twice. Okay, so one of the transactions that you can make is at this point, that is 22 minus 10, you will be getting as 12. And another transactions that you can make is basically if you will buy the stock at 5 and sell it at 80. Okay, so what value it will give you? 80 minus 5. So what value it is going to give you is 80 minus 5, that is you are going to get 75. If you will add them, so total profit that you are going to make is 87, right? So basically first transaction that we made was we bought the stock when the value was 10 and sold it at 22, and then secondly we bought the stock when the value was 5 and sold it at 80. Okay, so these are the 2 transactions that we made, right? So in the output you need to return the maximum profit, that is the integer value, right? So is the input statement and the output statement clear to you all? Okay, so thank you for the confirmation, everyone. Now let us see how we are going to proceed for this question. Approach will be, so we have 10, 22, 5, 75, 65, 80. All right. So basically in this question, as we have to make at most 2 transactions, right? So what we are going to do is we will take help of 2 auxiliary array. Okay, so we are going to take help from 2 arrays. Okay, what these 2 arrays will be, one will be named as profit 1 and the other will be named as profit 2. Now these 2 arrays will be of size n. Okay, that is the size of this array, and they will be initialized with the value 0. The second array also will be of size n and initialized with value 0. Now what these 2 array are going to contain is the first array, that is profit 1. It will contain the profit. Okay, you just need to do the linear traversal that you did in the case of making 1 transaction, right? You will just do the linear traversal, and at every point of time you will update it. Okay, So how you are going to update it as, first of all, you will keep on finding the minimum price for the transaction. Okay, now whatever minimum price is coming, and then you will find out the maximum profit that you are getting, and you will update this profit table as maximum of profit that has been made by the previous transaction. Okay, or the profit that is being made currently. Okay, that will be price of I minus min price. Okay, so that is how we are going to fill out our profit one. Okay, this will contain the maximum profit that you can make when you are linearly traversing the array starting from I is equal to 1, right? And now what profit 2 will have? In profit 2, similar way, create it of size n. What it will have is, it will have maximum of either the profit that has been made in the next day, right, that has been already made previously, or the maximum profit that you are getting, that is the max price minus price of I. Okay, now see what is happening here. In this case, when you are finding profit one, in this case you will keep on updating the minimum price, right, because we are focusing on buying at the lowest possible value. And here what you will do is, you will keep on updating the maximum price. Now what is the maximum price? Because whenever you are starting your iteration from the end, right, so first of all, we are taking the selling wala index into the consideration, right? So in that, what you need to do is, you need to, whenever you sell the stock, you need to sell it at the maximum price. Okay, so for the profit 2 array, you need to update the maximum price. For the profit 1 array, you need to update the minimum price, right? I will just do a dry run, it will become more clearer to you. So let us say the array is 10, 22, 5, 75, 65, 80. Okay, so first of all, I am trying to fill this minimum price. I'm filling this profit one. Okay, so let me make this profit one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, initialized with 0. Okay, this every value is initialized with 0, and this is the min price that I will keep on updating. Right, now I'm starting my traversal from this point. Okay, from I is equal to 1. And how I will update this as, see, minimum price is the simple, what is the minimum value till this point, and how we are going to update profit table as profit 1 is equal to maximum of profit at I minus 1 or current price minus min price. Okay, this is very much similar to how we did when one transaction was allowed, right? We were doing it the same way, current price minus minimum price. Okay, all right, so now tell me, let us just start filling this table. We have start iteration from 22. So what is the minimum price till now? Minimum price is initialized with the value 10 initially. Okay, so out of 10 and 22, what is minimum? I have started my iteration and value of I is 2 currently. Okay, so out of 10 and 22, minimum is what? I mean, 10 is still the minimum, right? So basically, minimum price remains the same. Okay, so basically minimum price remains the same. What we need to now do is, we need to update the table. So how we are updating table? It is the maximum of profit that has been occurred previously, or price of I minus minimum price, right? So at this point, if you are filling, so profit at I minus 1, that is 0. So we need to do the comparison between 0 and price of I. So price of I is 22 minus minimum price 10, that is 12, right? So here we need to do the comparison between 0 and 12. So out of 0 and 12, what is maximum? All right, 12 is maximum. So basically we will fill it with 12. All right, let us now move to our next I index. So currently index is here. Okay, I is here. Like, let me update the value of I as well. We have I as 3 now. Okay, so what will the minimum price get updated? The value of I is 3. So do we need to update the minimum price here? Exactly, we need to update. So now minimum price will be 5, right? Okay, now we need to update the table as well. So for the table, what are the two values that you need to compare? Profit at I minus 1. So what is the profit at I minus 1? That is 12. Now price of I, that is 5, minus minimum price, that is 5. 5 minus 5, 0. So basically again the comparison between 12 and 0. So what is the maximum of these two? It will come out to be 12, right? Like 12 is the maximum from these two. So basically here we are going to fill 12, right? This iteration completed. Okay, now, yeah, exactly. Thanks Abhi and Subhadeep for the right answer. Let us now move to our next index, that is 75. Okay, now we are at 75. Do we need to update the minimum price? Do we need to update the minimum price? While no, exactly. Okay, so we know there is no any requirement to update the minimum price. Now let us see how we need to update the profit. So basically we need to compare between profit at I minus 1, that is 12. Okay, profit at I and then price of I minus minimum price. So price of I is 75, minus minimum price 5. 75 minus 5, 70. Okay, so what is the value that you are getting? So what shall I update here? Maximum of 12 and 70. 12 again. We are updating it with the maximum. Exactly. So it will be 70. Okay. So here I am going to write. Let me erase this value. Yes. So all of you are right. So what I'm going to do is here I am updating it with 70. Right. Let us now move ahead. And I'm at this point 65. We don't need to update the minimum price, right? That is no any requirement because 5 is still remains the minimum price. Now if you will update the table, you will need to do the comparison between 70 and 65 minus 5, that is 60. So maximum is still the 70, right? Yes. So what we are going to do is here we are going to fill it out as 70, right? And then yes, 70 again. Now, let us move to the last value, that is 80. Again, we don't need to update the min price. It remains the same. And the comparison is now between 70 and 80 minus 5, that is 75. Right? Exactly. So now it will be 75. So let me write it here. 75. Right? So this is how our profit one table looks like. Cool. Now we need to fill our next table, that is profit 2. How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Initialized with 0. So how you are going to update it as? Profit 2 will be maximum of profit 2 at I plus 1 or max price minus price of I. Okay. And here what you need to do is you need to update max price. And we will start our traversal from the end. Okay, let me erase this thing. Okay, so here we were actually updating the min price, but now what we need to update is max price. Okay. All right, okay, let me draw the table here. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, initially initialized with 0, and we are starting our traversal from the end. So let us say initially we are here, sorry, we will start our traversal from 65. Okay, initially the max price is 80, right? This is 0. Now how you are going to update it is either the maximum of profit to at I plus 1 or max price minus price of I. Okay, now when my I is here, okay, so what is 80 minus 65? That is 15, right? Yeah. So is 15 maximum or 0 maximum? Obviously 15 is the maximum. So here you will replace this with 15. Clear? Let me erase it. This will be replaced by 15. Okay. Next, say that our I has been moved here, 75. Okay. So max price still remains the same as 80. Okay. So now what is maximum? 50 is maximum or 80 minus 75 is maximum? Again it will come out as 15 is maximum, right? So basically you will get 15 here. Now you will decrement your I and you are at 5. So what is maximum, 80 or 5? Again 80 is the maximum, it will remain the same. Now for the profit table, either 15 is maximum or 80 minus 5 is maximum. Of course 80 minus 5 is maximum, that is giving you 75, right? And for all of these cases you will find out the maximum remains same as 75. Okay, so this is how this table will be filled out, right? So this is your profit 1 table, this is your profit 2 table. Okay, so after filling both of these tables, what you need to do is basically you need to do a linear traversal in these two and you need to sum them. Okay, and at whatever point you are getting the maximum profit, that is going to be the answer. So here which segment is going to give you the maximum profit? That is this one. 75 plus 12, that is 87. That is the maximum profit. Okay, and that is the answer. So basically for these two transactions there is nothing new concept that we use. We just use the concept of one transaction, right, that we did in the previous session. Just the only difference is that in the previous session we were traversing from the front of the array, but as here two transactions are allowed, so what you need to do is you need to do one traversal from the end of the array as well. All right, so just create two array and do these two traversals, and at whatever point you are getting the maximum value, that will be the maximum profit, right? So that is how you are going to approach the question when two transactions are allowed. And now let me just show you the code for this. Yeah, we are adding it profit element by element because we need to see that at what point you are getting the maximum value, right? Because we don't know that at which segment you will get the maximum, so we need to check for all the segments, right? That at which segment we are checking here, that at which segment you are going to get the maximum. Okay, here see, like here when you are considering this 12, here this 12 means what? When the stock is, we did all right, this 22 minus 10, right? So here the 12 means what? When the stock was bought at 10 and sold at 22. Okay, when this one transaction was made. Okay, so here 12 means what? That till now the maximum value that you can get by making a transaction is 22 and 10, right? But then as you need to, the maximum profit that you are getting, that is from two transactions. Okay, so this is the value of one transaction and this is the value of one transaction. The maximum profit that you will get is by adding two transactions. Getting my point? It is not that you are getting maximum profit from one of the transactions only. You are getting maximum profit by adding these two transactions. So that's why we need to add two transactions to check that which transaction is giving us the maximum profit. That's why there is an addition. Okay, now let me just show you the code. Just a second. Okay, so yeah, this is the code. All of you can go through it, and if there is any line that is not clear to you, please feel free to drop it in the chat section. And also, if it is clear to you, then also drop a +1 in the chat section. I just stop my camera. Yeah. Okay, so we have a confusion at line number 16. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are declaring here two arrays, that is profit 1 and profit 2 of size n, and initializing them with 0. All right, guys, so if this code is clear to you all, please give a +1 in the chat section so that we can proceed ahead. And also, if there is any confusion, then feel free to drop that as well. And also, one thing I would like you all to do is, like, here we have used two space, right? We have created this two vectors, that is profit 1 and profit 2. So the thing is that this question can be done without these help of vectors as well. You can create 4 variables, and with the help of those 4 variables, what you can do is you can try to find out the answer to this question, so that all of you can take it as an assignment. You need to solve this question with the help of 4 variables and without using these 2 additional space. Okay, so that is an assignment for all of you. That is again just the same thing. You need to buy it at the lowest minimum possible, and you need to sell it at the maximum value that you can get. All right, so that is the homework for you all. Solve this question without using 2 vectors, right? So all right, now before we proceed towards our next question, let me so before we proceed towards our next question, let me share something with you. So as you all know, there are certain courses that are being offered by Geeks for Geeks, and one of them is this data structures and algorithms self-paced course, which comes with amazing contents and the amazing features that it is having 60 plus hours of recorded content, and that is done by none other than Sandeep sir. And then there is bi-weekly live sessions, 24 into 7 doubt assistance, and there are several benefits that you are going to get. This is the course content. You can go through them and the various positive feedbacks that we have here. So and the instructor is, as I said, none other than Sandeep sir. So make sure you are visiting this website and you are studying about this course. And if you feel that this course is a right need for you, then please make sure that you are enrolling yourself, because right now the course is being offered at a discounted rate. All right, so please go through these courses. And then there is this other course, that is complete interview preparation, that is again self-paced, and also this offer is ending, so make sure that you are accessing these websites. All right, and the various benefits that they are offering, just go through them, and if you find them useful to you, then make sure that you are enrolling into it. Okay, and the next course that we have is, that is competitive programming live. Okay, it again comes with amazing benefits, and it will help you a lot in your preparation phase. As you know, CP is very essential for logic building, so that's why this is a kind of essential things. So all right, and also as you can see that there are certain discounts also that is being given. Okay, and you can get your counseling done as well. The contact number is provided here. All right guys, the link to all of these 3 courses are given in the description of this video. Okay, so make sure you are going through all of them, right? So yeah, that is all about this question. Now we are moving to our next question. Okay, so yeah, just give me a second. Okay. So first of all, let's just read the question statement. We need to find out the maximum profit when K transactions are allowed. Okay, so all right, this is the question statement, and what does it read as? In the stock market, a person buys a stock and sells it on some future date. Given the stock prices of n days in an array and a positive integer k, find out the maximum profit a person can make in at most k transactions. Okay, and a transaction is equivalent to buying plus selling of a stock, and new transaction can start only when the previous transaction has been completed. All right, so let us now see how we can solve this question. Okay. Max profit when K transactions allowed. Okay. So basically till now what we have done is the first was one transaction, the second was infinite transactions, third was for 2 transactions, and now here we are generalizing it, we are doing it for K transactions, right? So now for the K transactions, basically, you need to have a very optimal approach towards this question. You need to decide that whether on a given day you need to purchase the stock or not, right? So the approach has to be very, yeah, so the approach has to be very very optimal towards this question, and we need to make choices. We were making choices in the previous questions as well, but here you need to make selections very wisely because you have to make only K transactions, right? So like let us see, for example, in the previous question, let us the sample input that is being given, if we discuss that. So the input that is being given to us is 10, 22, 575, 65, 80. 10, 22, 575, 65, 80, right? So this is being given, and here the value of K that is given to us is 2. So the 2 transactions we made, and the final output that we are getting from these 2 transactions are, one is from 22 minus 10 plus the other is from 80 minus 5, right? So that is giving you 12 plus 75, that is 87. Okay, so this is the input and the output. What is going to happen is that an array is given to you and the value of K will be given to you, and you need to make as this many transactions. Okay, so all right, now let us see how we can proceed for this question. So first of all, as we can see here that the number of transactions, from 0 to K, you have this much value, and in array we have 0 to n, and basically we are making choices. So the like it is not possible when the 2 transactions were allowed. What we were doing is we did one traversal from first to back, and then another traversal from back to first, right? But here it is not possible to do the traversal K times. That is not very optimal choice. So rather than doing traversals again and again, basically what you can do is you can create a 2D vector, all right, or a 2D table, right? Let us say name it as T, and you can create it as K plus 1 and N, right? So basically what are the dimensions of these table are, like if I'll draw this table, okay, so the dimensions of these table are what? This is row, that is the number of transactions, okay. Just a second. Yeah, so this is a row, that is the number of transactions that we have, and these are the columns, that is on the number of days, right, like on which day we are doing the transaction, okay. So with the help of this 2D table, what you can do is you will be able to find out the optimal answer to this question, right. So first of all, whenever we fill a 2D table, what we do is first of all we fill the first row and the first column, okay, that is known as initialization. Okay, so now tell me this first row, okay, sorry, this first column, what does this first column signifies? That on 0th day, all right. So let us say that you are doing a transaction on 0th day. So no matter how many transactions are given to you, but if you are the only day, there is just one day that is given to you. So obviously the profit that you are going to make is zero, right? Because in one day you can't buy or sell the just let us say you bought and sold the stock on the same day, then the maximum profit that you can going to make is zero only, right? Because there will be no any change in values. So the first row, how it will be filled with the first column, it will be filled with zero, right? And now the first row, how we are going to fill it as, just a second. First column, and then when you are filling first row, how you are going to fill it as, first row means zero number of transactions, right? So just tell me, I want you all to answer this thing, that if we have only zero number of transactions to make, then what is the maximum profit that you can get? The only number of transactions that you can make it zero. So I want you all to drop the answer in the chat section. If we are on the first row and if we can make only zero number of transactions, then what is the maximum profit that you can have? This is a very basic logical question, and I want you all to please answer this. Yeah, all right. Actually, nothing has been written there where the screen is appearing, where my screen is appearing, but still, okay, just a second. Is it clear now? Uh, Everyone, please, I want you all to respond to this, that what is the maximum profit you are going to get if there is only zero number of transactions that we can make. There is only one correct answer till now. Okay, so yeah, exactly. DL, thanks for the answer. So basically, you will again be getting zero profit, right? So in this table, what is happening is that in the initialization, we have 0, 0 for the first row and for the first column. Okay, so now for the rest of the table, let me tell you what the cell signifies. Okay, if this, okay, sorry, yeah. So if this is our table, right, and these are the cells that we have, okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the indexes values, and 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the number of transactions that you can make. Okay, so we are already clear about that. We are going to fill this with 0. Now let us say what the value at this point will signify. Okay, so what does this signify? This will signify the maximum profit that you can have, right, when you had make already two number of transactions. Okay, this is the row value, I number of transactions you had already made, and you are on the this, that is jth day. Okay, correct. Obviously the cell value will signify this thing, that we had made two number of transactions on the second day, right? So after making two number of transactions on the second day, whatever the maximum profit you are going to get, that will be written in this cell value. Okay, so that is how this table is going to be filled. How? What you need to do is you need to do the traversal of all the grids, right? And how you are going to fill it as, first of all, see, there can be two things, that you are either including the current day, that is the jth day. Okay, let us say you are on the jth day right now. So there are two options: either include this day for the transaction or not include this day, right? So all right, so okay, so we have two options to either include it or not include it, right? So when you will be not including it, then what you will do is the simple profit, whatever you will get, is equal to T of I and J minus 1. Okay, it will be equal to the profit that has been made the previous day, right? If we are at this point, okay, and if you have not included the value that is given here, so you will be simply getting the value that you got in the previous day's transaction. Okay, because this day has not been included. So in that case, what you will be getting is, you will be getting the value as T of I and J minus 1, right? And now let us suppose that you have included this transaction. So if you have included, so whatever what value you will get is that you simply need to add the value that is there, plus you need to find out the maximum of, like, let me say, if you are at this cell, okay, so you need to find out like, let us say if you are at this cell, right, and you so what you need to find out is, you need to find out the maximum value that you can get when you will make transaction on this day, on this day, on this day, and like on this day anyways you are getting 0. So in all of these 3 days, whatever is the maximum profit that you are going to get, you need to update it with that. Okay, all right, so keep this in mind. What we need to find out basically is that if you are selling your stock, sorry, if you are selling your stock at this point, if this day is included in the transaction, then you need to find out that on, let me explain again. If you are making your transaction at this point, okay, when you were linearly traversing the array, what you were basically doing, you were finding out that if the cell when we did that at most two transaction. Okay, let me see if we have that page there. Okay, so yeah, this is the page when we were doing this at most two transactions. So what we were basically looking at, that if selling was done at this point, right, if selling was done at this point, then on what point you should buy the stock so that the profit can be maximum, right? On the basis of that, this table was being filled, right? When the selling was done at 80, and if you were buying the stock at 65, the maximum value that you were getting was 15. When you were selling the stock at 80 and you were buying the stock at 75, still the maximum that you are getting is 15. But when you are selling the stock at 80 and buying it at 5, then the maximum that you were getting was 75, right? So basically what you were doing was, you were considering that you are selling your stock here, and then you were considering that at which point you should buy it so that the profit can be maximum, right? That's what we were doing when we were traversing the array for the profit to table. Is this concept clear for how we filled this profit to table? Is this point clear? All right. So what we did was, okay, so basically what we were doing is that we were considering that, okay, I sold my stock at 80, and then I was finding that at which point I should buy my stock so that my profit will be maximum. Okay, so basically here what you are doing is, you know that you have sold your stock at this day. Okay, so now you are finding out that on which of the previous days you should have bought your stock so that your profit can be maximum, right? So there we did it only once because we just did only one linear traversal, but here we need to do linear traversal again and again because we have a 2D table to fill. Okay, so that's why we are filling out this table in this way. Okay, so we are doing the same thing that we did for that two stock thing. Okay, you just need to find out that at which point you should buy the stock to maximize the profit, right? So basically what you are doing is, how you will find it out, simply write down, you will add the prices of J plus it will be added to what? The maximum of when, yeah, when it is not included, right? Okay, all of you can just give it a try that how we are going to fill the table. This T of I J minus 1 when not included. Okay, let me write it in a clear way. We have two options, either to include the current day in the stock or to not include it. Okay, so when you have when you have not included it, it will be simply T of I J minus 1. Okay, why J minus 1? You will be simply getting the profit that you got in the previous day, right? Because the current day was not involved in the transaction, right? But when it is included, in that case what you are going to get is simply add the current price plus the maximum of we need to have one more value here. We need to have one more variable here, that is previous difference. Okay, and how this previous difference will be updated as, that will be simply maximum of previous difference plus the maximum profit that you have received till previous day. Okay, all right, this will be comma, right? So basically, see, this is clear. When it is not included, you will simply getting the profit that you got in the previous day, right? But when it is not included, okay, but when it is included, what you will be getting, the value as, you will be getting it as prices of the current stock, that whatever it is, plus previous difference. Okay, what is the previous difference? Previous difference is the maximum difference. Yeah, I'll tell you. The previous difference is what? Previous difference is the maximum difference that you are getting. Like, let us say this is the stock. Okay, so okay, tell me what is the profit you will get when you sold it at C and bought it at A. What is the difference that you are going to get? You sold it at C and you have bought it at A. C minus A, exactly. So basically what we are doing here is, You are just calculating all. And okay, let us say that you have bought it at C and sorry, you have sold it at C and bought it at B. Okay, at that time, what is the maximum profit that you are going to get? Great, C minus B. So basically what you are doing that whatever current value, okay, that you are at, you are simply subtracting the value of stocks from it, right? So it is just a normal subtraction. I mean, just a subtracting of what? Selling price minus buying price. Right, here we are just doing a selling price minus buying price. Okay, here we are considering that we have bought our stock at the prices of j minus 1. Okay, j minus 1, so this is j minus 1. So we are considering that we have bought our stock at this point, and now we are finding it out that at which point we should sell it so that we can get the maximum profit. Right, it is basically the same thing that we did for the two transactions. It is just that we need to calculate it again and again. Okay, in two transactions it was simple, just do one traversal from front to back and one traversal from back to front, and we were done. Okay, but here you need to do the traversals again and again. Right, basically you need to find out that, like, you are what we are doing is we are analyzing a current value of stock. Okay, and then we are finding out that on which of the previous point we can buy it so that we can maximize the profit. Right, so you need to do this thing for each and every cell. Okay, so that's why we need to here iterate through two of the loops. Okay, so that is the concept that is involved in this. In k transactions allowed. Okay, and in this k transaction you can replace the k with the value of 2, and then it will become at most 2 transactions allowed. All right, let me now just share the code. Okay, so just take your time and try to, I'll just stop my video. Okay, so just take your time and try to analyze this code. Okay, so basically we are iterating through all the number of transactions that we have, right? And then for each day you are checking that whether you are including this day in your transaction or not. Okay, so if you are not including, then you will simply get the previous day's value, and if you are including, then what you need to do is you need to add the value of current day's stock to the previous difference that you have obtained. All right, and what is that previous difference? It is basically the maximum profit that you are going to get when you will subtract the current values of stock with each of the previous day's value. All right, so just take your time. I mean, just try to analyze the code once. And also, if this code is required, let me know in the chat section. I will share it that as well. See, 31, 32. Okay, what we are doing is, okay, if you are selling a stock, okay, 1 second. If you are selling a stock on the ith day, so it means that you need to buy it on any of the 0 to I minus 1th day, right? Okay, here we have used the variable j. So if you are selling a stock on jth day, so basically it means that you need to buy it on any of the 0 to j minus 1th day, right? The buying thing should have been done in that space. So basically we are checking that from 0 to j minus 1, on which index you should buy the stock so that you can get the maximum profit when you will sell it on the jth day. All right, That is what we are trying to do. And why we have reduced I minus 1 in the line number 31, we have written I minus 1. Why? Because why we have written there I minus 1? Okay, because when you have made a purchase, that means that one of the transaction has been reduced. All right, like say if you are having 5 transactions, so now you are having only one transactions to do. Okay, it is basically doing that, like whenever you are making a transaction on the jth day, right? So it is looking for the same thing, that on the day number 0 to j minus 1. Okay, from the day 0 to j minus 1 you have bought your stock, right? So that's why I minus 1. Okay, let me show it in the notebook. Yeah, so basically the statement is t of I minus 1 j minus 1 minus prices at j minus 1. Okay, now tell me if I am selling my stock on this day. Okay, selling my stock on j minus 1 day. Okay, that is what we are taking into consideration. It means that I have bought my stock on any day between 0 to j minus 1, right? So here I am considering that I have already bought my stock on any of the day from 0 to j minus 1, and that's why I am doing I minus 1, because if you have done one transaction, then you will be one transaction less now, right? So basically what I'm considering, that I have done one transaction already. Okay, and then I'm finding out that on which day I will get the maximum value starting from j minus 1, right? Like you are traversing from 0 to j, it will simply iterate from 0 to j, and it will give you the point where you can get the maximum value when you will try buying your stock. Okay, just don't take it like this, like t of I minus 1 or j minus 1. Don't get scared with that terminology. It just basically, it is selling price. This one is the selling price. Okay, and this one is the buying price. Like you are buying your stock on any of the days between 0 to j minus 1, and you are selling your stock on j minus 1th day. Okay, that is what it is signifying. Buy your stock in any of the days from 0 to j minus 1 and sell it on j minus 1th day. Okay, and then on buying it on which of the day from 0 to j minus 1 will give you the maximum value that we are finding. Okay, that this grid will fill out in that way. I hope it is visible. All right, guys, and then like at the end, simply just you need to return the t of k and n minus 1. Okay, so these were the 4 kind of stock questions, right, that we discussed in these 2 days. On the next day's session, we will be taking up some another DP things, probably DP on grids, okay, that we are going to discuss. And then after that, we will be discussing DP on trees. All right. So till now, we have covered knapsack, LCS, some practice questions on DP, and this is the stock-based problems. If there is any feedback or any suggestions from your side or anything that you want me to implement in the upcoming sessions, please feel free to drop it in the chat section. And if we are good to wrap up with this session, please drop a +1 in the chat section as well. And also don't forget to access the website links, the courses that are being given in the description of this video. All right. Okay guys, so that was all about the today's session. If there is any feedbacks or any suggestions, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. The question link as well has been given in the chat box, so all of you can access it and try to solve it, right? If there is any issues, then we have Discord channels, we have groups, you can drop it there. So all right, thanks everyone for joining the session. Take care, stay safe, and keep up the hard work. Good night, everyone.